Yeah.
What are you doing today?
What am I doing today?
Yeah.
Well,
since we haven't done anything yet today.
Yeah, we haven't done anything. Yeah. Well, we're gonna take a go at using the Alaskan chainsaw mill. I've never used one before. I set it up last night. Because as you can see in this room, I have no siding on anything. And we want to go and cut up some dead spruce to make some siding. So, that's what we're doing today.
It shouldn't be painful or anything.
No. It's, as I always tell the wife, this is going to hurt you more than it's going to hurt me. But I'm afraid today this might hurt me. So, we'll see how it goes.
Turn around's fair play.
Ha!
Come join us over here.
Come on, it's in log. So this is a dead spruce down here. I want to make boards out of it, and I thought instead of trying to drag this out of the woods, let's just make them right here. So I'm going to be getting set up. Should have brought a shovel. I'm going to be getting set up to make some boards. It's kind of weird because it's kind of here, but in order to do it, to make 8-foot boards, I'm going to have to cut past the 8-foot by about that much so I can clear boards off of it. So yeah, I'm just going to get set up here.
You made a chair.
Yeah. We'll see. But now the log is supported on both ends and here, and we'll just use it in its natural state to set up and cut some boards. looks kind of crappy with the scab together pieces, but I figure if it works, then I guess I'll have the sawmill to make some new ones.
There you go.
So now I'm gonna go get the Alaskan chainsaw mill and be prepared. Okay, well, we'll start. If you've never seen one before, this is an Alaskan chainsaw mill. I have never used one before, so this is totally new to me. I'm using a steel MS441, which I believe this is 71 cc's, so it should be more than enough to run this with a 25-inch bar. Should double check gas and oil first. I've got it set up so your first cut you have to, I need to fill it up. You need to run it on some straight rails, which these are pretty good, to get that slab off. After that, you remove the rails and you cut off the flat surface that you made. So from the top of the 2x4 to the bottom of here is 6 inches. So I just set the mill depth at 6 inches. It's got a thing on each side to see that. So now, if I did it right, what's the chances? I should be able to set this on here, and it's going to, should be cutting at about the bottom of that 2x6. And there we go.
You're gonna hit the bottom of the 2x6 on your north side.
I'll trim it off.
Okay.
So, before I get cutting, I'm going to fill up the gas and oil, and then we'll see if we can't cut off slabs, see how long it takes. I don't have any special ripping chain or any of that. From the tests that I've seen, the best chain for this is a chisel tooth sharpened at a almost flat, not at like a 15-degree, almost flat. Gives you the smoothest, nicest finish. Also, when I run this, from my YouTube studying that I've done, they like to try to run the saw at about a 45-degree angle, and that way it's closer to a normal cross cut that you would do, and it cuts a little easier. So I'm gonna top this off and we'll get right back to you.
Yeah, you're through.
Won't matter after this cut, but
Next time.
yeah, right here it got hung up.
Oh.
There's a little mismatch. That's what that was.
And what if you waxed it?
I gotta start with some real 2x4s. These are fucking, this one here is super janky. Yes, possibly. And starting with a square end would help too.
Well, let's see what you got.
Let's see what we got for sure.
Sawdust and a pretty rough cut.
A very rough cut. Oh.
That's for Remember when I said you were pushing on it, you were lifting the back?
Yeah. Yeah, that very well could be. Well, that's my first.
Because what does it look like down further? Not quite as bad. Alrighty.
We need a brush. Did you find a brush?
No. Did you tell me to find a brush?
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
You said you were going to the house to find the brush that was sitting up there. You said it.
Shovel.
With your lips. Your
The
special
shovel
lips.
that you wanted me to get.
The what?
Shovel. Do you want me to go get a brush?
Oh, it gets a weird wave to it. I don't understand that. But it's a long ways from a new chain. So I think what I'm going to do, since I haven't, I'm going to touch up the chain. I'm going to bring the rakers down a bit. I haven't touched those up either. And we'll see if we can make our first board.
I'll go get a brush.
Even this isn't waste. I mean,
no, well, you burn that.
yeah, that's firewood.
Or shelf.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, it could be a shelf. It was cutting pretty slow, so sorry, I'm yelling. So I brought the rakers down. I haven't even touched those up on this chain yet, so I brought the rakers down, and now, and then I touch up the saw. So now I have to figure out how to change my depth, so I can start cutting some 1-inch boards. So let's try to figure that out. Yeah, the first cut came out pretty good. It's a little weirdly rough, but I hadn't touched up that chain in quite a while. So I was having to push too hard on it, and you shouldn't have to push like that. Okay, so now, oh, it goes by itself. What does that mean? What does that even mean? That says 1 inch, but that can't be 1 inch. Right? Well, that's 1 inch from here to there. Okay, we'll go ahead and we're gonna set it at 3/4, or we're gonna try that. I don't really need them to be 1 inch thick, so. Of course, that's where the importance of your first cut is critical, because your second cut, I mean, if you're just making D-logs, it doesn't matter. But if you're making boards, your rails are going to copy what you did the first time. So that's where being accurate matters. You got to be careful too with the rakers. When you take them down, the rakers are your depth gauge for the tooth. So a lot of times I don't even touch them, because as you've seen me cut, I do a lot of plunge cutting, and I never have a kickback issue. The only time I have is when I got too crazy with the rakers, took off too much, and then the chain gets really grabby. I mean, it will come back. So I hope I didn't go too much. But this is a fairly well-used chain, so I'm experimenting at this point. Now, here is when I will probably need wedges. I wish I had more. Don't forget to hydrate first.
Is that water or vodka?
No. Pretty sure it's water.
Okay.
Um,
We're not in Russia today?
Not today.
Okay.
No. Okay. Now, it should be fine on the end this time when we come out. The only thing I'm a little concerned about is this shit on the end. That's awful. It gets periods. See, what was happening here, what I think was happening, it was catching on these, and it was stopping it.
So it's just going to compound each time.
First board review. Here's what I learned. Taking down the rakers and sharpening the saw, much better finish. However, if you start, stop, you got to kind of back out and work your way into it nice and slow. If you just dig into it, I get these crazy chatter marks in here, these crazy grooves. Now, it was on that one too, and I was able to just hand plane them out. Other than that, my finish was pretty good. This one's not too bad. Now, I planed off those high marks. So now, I'm gonna double check the saw again, and I think I gotta tighten up my chain, and we'll try to do one nice and smooth, no mistakes on my part. This is all mistakes on my part, nothing to do with the saw or the Alaskan chainsaw. How bad is it? Really bad? I don't know if I took the rakers down too far. Why is it smooth sometimes? And sometimes it just, I don't know, it just kind of bogs down and gets us a fucking weird finish. I mean, this side is good. How bad is the bottom side? I tried to be so much more consistent this time.
Yeah, but I could see it chatter.
Yeah, and what I would try to hold up on the saw.
Yeah.
And it would slow the chatter down. See, like this is perfect. Well, we got it. It works. All the problems that we were having on the first few boards was the chain. It was a well-used chain. If the rakers get pulled down too far, it causes chatter. It does it when you're cross-cutting. It looks way worse when you're using an Alaskan mill. I went and I put a brand new full chisel, not touched. They look like they came off a bandsaw. I mean, the finish is really pretty incredible. This process works good. It uses a lot of gas. And I've got a big chainsaw. It uses a lot of gas anyway, but it works consistently. We've got 6 boards here. We'll have to get them back home and get them cut down to width. What do you think, Phyllis?
We might finish a room.
We might finish a room, yeah. And we've got, you know, the rest of this log to go. And near as I can tell, I've got 2 more sections like this to do. So, yeah, I'd say big success. Let's see out of my glasses.
That's better.
Mm-hmm. Look at that. Look at boards.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. Okay, good morning, folks. Today we are using the Granberg or the Alaskan chainsaw mill again, and the last time I was out here, I'm completely new to this. There's my disclaimer. Having some real issues. At first I was using just a straight up chisel chain, and I was getting a lot of, I don't know, it was maybe a little dull, wasn't pushing right. So I sharpened it and I brought the rakers down like 15 thou. And then I had this terrible chatter going on the wood. So I went and grabbed my brand new chisel tooth chain and I made like 3 cuts and it was perfect. It really was impressive. And then I came out during the week and it was awful again. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. You see these ridges in here? I don't understand it, so if you do, go ahead and throw some comments in there. But what I'm going to do this morning now, I've sharpened up my hand plane. I'm going to plane off those marks, and then I went and for $75, I purchased a actual ripping chain that I'm going to try that out this morning, and hopefully that cures my issues. So I had one other thing wrong. That was 100% my fault. The crossbar, or the handle as they call it, this piece right here, these bolts were loose, so maybe that was causing some resonance, but I don't know. I'll find out. So I'm gonna clean off the snow and warm myself up by planing off these grooves.
You're not feeling groovy today?
No, I don't. Wow, that's nice.
Even where you hit the knot, it's a little...
Oh, that Phyllis. That's what we're talking about.
That's better. I mean, there's still a little bit.
Well, you get these knots are, the knots are hard. That's almost like a bandsaw finish. We got a couple of little spots, but see, by a knot, consistent by knots. Right here was a bit of a struggle, but the biggest issue that I had on that was where it grooved it before, and those grooves would catch because it's a real sharp edge that slides along the board. So that's why I planed them off, but it was catching. So that's what we're looking for right there. That's gorgeous.
So we've been out here 45 minutes, half hour?
Yeah, something like that.
And we've gotten six boards. So what did we learn today?
Wow, we learned that there's all kinds of arguments on the internet about whether you need a ripping chain or not for Alaskan sawmill. My experience with that today is absolutely. We got a far better finish. We used a minimum a third to 40% less fuel, and it really worked nice. Here's what we made today. So this one here, we quit on this log. There was just too much rot to, it's pretty, you know, and it's going in the house, so we'll probably use this end. This was just a narrower one, but that is what we made, and we only worked on it for, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours. You know, not to mention, we brought home 2 loads of firewood from the scrap that we cut up, and we have all of the edgings are going to be our kindling for the winter. So that's only half of what we have today. Now we have to edge. I edge one side of it with a chalk line and a skill saw, and I edge the other side on the table saw, and it makes enough, you know, kindling to get a fire going to last us months.
Oh yeah.
So all in all, pretty awesome. We're making all the siding for the new inside walls of the house and trim just off down trees. So it just takes a little effort, and I'm not paying $85 for a piece of paneling. That's just not happening. So this is affordable and it works for us.
What are you doing?
Well, yesterday we took the time and we made all these beautiful boards. Figured out the chainsaw mill. Love the finish on them. It's great. And we are going to finish up this wall here in the bathroom. Because once this wall is finished, then I can put up a cabinet and we can get stuff off the barrels or whatever. So, yeah. No, probably better. That is
Whoop
good.
whoop.
That's going to be gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Love it, love it, love it. What you'll get a lot of times on this pine, you'll see these bluish streaks in it. That happens as soon as the tree dies. That is the sugars in the tree. Just that's what does that. It's the sugars that are in the wood, and they turn kind of a bluish. And these being, they were already down. They've been down for a bit, and they've got some really great character. I think it'll be really nice inside.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna keep going.